What's going on YouTube? Hayden back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we will be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as EOS to BTC. We will also be looking at the coin market cap, as well as an article discussing cool off Litecoin may drop to $60 before rallying to 110. We will also be discussing my buy-in opportunities, where I bought in, when I bought in, how I bought in, etc. in today's video. As we did say yesterday, we discussed that I was going to buy in, and I'd like to discuss with you today as towards what price it is that I bought in and my future projections and plan. If any of that sounds interesting, let's jump into today's video. Make sure to stick around to the end. So guys, I'm on the current coin market cap, and as you guys can see, we have a total of 172 billion in market cap, a 24-hour volume of 47.1, and then we see a Bitcoin dominance of 51.9%. Now there's a couple of things to take note of. We're pretty much seeing some sort of consolidation within the market. Yes, 24-hour volume is slightly up by very little, and the market cap is also up by very little, but Bitcoin dominance is slowly increasing, which is a good thing in a way. It's showing the markets are pretty much consolidating back up to the upside, but there is stuff to take note of. We do need to go a little bit more in depth into the charts to really capture what exactly is happening in terms of the prices and etc. Otherwise, guys, as I scroll down, you can take note that there are a couple of things. You can see that majority of the coins are in red. Only 4 out of the 10 top 10 cryptos are up. We do see Litecoin now in number 6, which is very interesting, but you'll note that EOS and Bitcoin Cash are really not that much higher up than Litecoin, so it's pretty much a rat race for who's in 4, 5, and 6, and those have been changing dramatically over the past couple of weeks. We've seen them fluctuate in terms of who holds on to number 4, but otherwise markets are looking fairly well. A thing to take note of is you can see that Bitcoin, like I said, the price graph, they're very similar. So what we like to do is we like to use all of these coins as a method of kind of adjusting where we could see the price is moving. That is something I learned after many months of watching the charts, is that it is very, very, very naive to only watch one chart, because that necessarily doesn't mean you're going to follow along, kind of what I'm saying. It might look on one chart like you're going to drop, but in reality, if you look at 5 of the charts, it might actually mean that we're going to move up. So there are other key terms to looking at multiple charts than just one chart. Otherwise, guys, let's jump into today's article. Now, there are a couple of announcements I'd like to discuss with you guys. As we get into the charting, I'm not really sure how I want to go around showing you guys where I'm purchasing crypto. I do want to be as transparent as I can, but there are some things I do have to conceal on YouTube, and one of them is, the exchanges and where I'm exactly storing my crypto, where I'm buying it, etc., etc. I can tell you how much and where. I can tell you how much and what price I bought it at, but as towards getting into the specifics and showing you guys what exchanges I'm buying on, I'm gonna have to keep that, in the background. I can't really, let you guys hear about that until I can figure out some sort of solution to actually getting to show you guys, the exchanges and whatnot that I'm buying it on. It's just for my security and my protection. If any of you guys have ideas, definitely leave it in the comments below. But, before we dive in, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up if you like the content. This way I know it's good and you want to see more. Otherwise, guys, moving on to the article, cool off Litecoin may drop to $60 before rallying to 110. So there's a lot of controversy right now in the market. I've pretty much said that we were going to drop, and that's exactly what happened. And there were a lot of you guys saying no, it won't. A lot of you guys saying when I said that $67 is definitely a potential before Litecoin moves up higher. You guys also doubted me on that, but I threw it out there because I do need to discuss that. So something to take note of in today's article is not only is Coinbase aggressively listing digital assets and departing from their cautious approach, but they are also partnering, opening doors, allowing their users to spend, their Litecoin balances thanks to the collaboration with Visa. Meanwhile, prices, like I said, are dropping. I may retest 70 and even $60 in this correction phase that we're seeing. I know we discussed Visa yesterday, but it is something I didn't want to summarize for a lot of those who are new to the channel. It is something quite important, at least towards the newbies that haven't yet heard about that news. That definitely, affects the prices, but otherwise the correlation between Bitcoin and Litecoin is direct, and like we just saw in the charts. Although it may not be according to math done by, different exchanges, the correlation coefficient is that their prices are 0.58 that means that more than 50%, and therefore it's significant. So there's a lot that they correlate with. Therefore, any spike or drop Bitcoin will most likely force liquidation into Litecoin and many other altcoins. We saw the behavior last year, and even prices recover. So when we saw Litecoin and Bitcoin, when we saw Bitcoin shoot up, Litecoin shot up, and vice versa. When we dropped, so did Litecoin. But and it's definitely very interesting, and I really do want to see how Coinbase, which is the biggest, exchange in the United States, affects the prices of crypto. Otherwise, let's jump into the charts for today. So guys, I'm on the Litecoin chart. This is Litecoin US dollar on Coinbase's 4-hour graph. Now, before I jump into this charting, I just want to give a huge shout out to all the people that decided to support me on Patreon. I literally was so shocked by the amount of people that signed up yesterday. I believe we had about half a dozen people join the Patreon, which is something unbelievable, and I never thought in a million years we would actually have people that would like to support the channel as well as gain exclusive content. That's what I'm really trying to push here, that it's not just a way to support me, it's also a way to help yourself, by getting access to exclusive charts with live updates, as well as getting to talk to me on a more personal level where I can actually understand what you guys are trying to do, as well as where you want to invest, etc., etc., and I can give you guys, quicker feedback than just off a YouTube video. So definitely make sure to check my Patreon out. It will be the first link in the description. All of you guys are helping me support me on there. That's how I make these videos. It makes it so much easier when I'm in college, but I definitely recommend checking it out. And I just want to say thanks to all those who actually took the time and to support me on Patreon. Otherwise, guys, I do really want to go in depth right now on Litecoin's 4-hour, because I've been checking out Litecoin's graph all day today. No rest all day today. I've been staring at Litecoin's graph because it's very interesting. Now, I want to say that yesterday I did buy into Litecoin, and I wanted to show you the buy order or record myself buying it, but that is way too risky to put out on the internet. So the best I can do as of right now is just tell you where I'm buying, or sorry, how much and what level I bought it at. So I bought Litecoin when it was about this second dip. So we watched the first dip right here, which was yesterday, and I was actually kind of tight or annoyed because I thought I missed out on the buying opportunity, but I just kind of held patient because I figured that this resistance at $80 would hold true, and it did. And then we watched the drop. So I actually set a buy order, and I bought it about 10% of my overall investing that I want to put in, my overall, I guess, funds that I wanted to put into crypto. I bought about 10% at around 76.50. So I wasn't sure how long it was going to stay down at 75, but I bought it at around 76.50, which is right around here, which is beautiful. And now that's just 10%. So if we do manage to break up and shoot up, at least I have some sort of money in it. Now, if we decide to go down, which is what I'm anticipating, if we head down to here, down to our $74 level, obviously I'll put in more than the 10% and it'll lower my dollar. It'll lower my average of where I purchase crypto. If we fall even lower, I'll put in even more of a percentage at $68, or if we move up, maybe at $70, where I'll put in even more money. $60 seems a bit unreasonable. It's definitely not something to throw out, because this does make a lot of sense. If we did pull all the way back down here, you can see where that really extremely strong support level is. Do I personally think it's going to drop to 60? Not really. We are retesting our high-low MMA right now. You can see we're pretty darn low on the RSI too, so it would be kind of difficult for us to break bearish right now. So we are really using the support though, so the longer we're hanging out here, the more I'm leaning towards us breaking down from that and hitting the $74 level, mainly because this is kind of chilling here for way too long. If it wanted to break out, it kind of would already have done that. So we are getting sandwiched in between here. Does seem to be a very strong resistance at $80. As I zoom out, you'll see we'll get a different view of things. You can see here that when we are on the daily, we're not really near our high-low MMA, which is an issue because on the 4-hour, we're right there, but it's such a wide gap now from the daily to the 4-hour that there is plenty of potential for us to, to shoot down lower, which is why $60 wouldn't be unreasonable, because that's right here. right where my cursor is, that is a very, very, very strong support and isn't unlikely to fall there. But I would start my dollar cost averaging here. I already did, right at around $76.50. If we pull back down to $73, $74, I'll throw in more, maybe about 20%. I'll put in around 30% down at $70, and if we fall lower, I'll put in the rest at around the $60, level, and that will most definitely not go any lower than 60 because we would put us into oversold, and I just don't think that's going to happen. This is a major support right here. And then I could see us shooting up. The lowest we could potentially go to is like $66 to $60, and that's where I'll put in most of my funds. And then we'll ride the puppy back up because I do think it is far from gone. I know it needed consolidation, which is what we're seeing, but it is not out of the downtrend yet, I don't think. I think we got a little bit lower to go, and then we'll start to correct back upwards. But you can see where we actually broke wasn't too low. We broke at 58, you can see, which was right here. That's where we broke out. And you can see the price currently is back down at 58, which is interesting. That's another thing you guys have to take note of, is this is 58, the price was at $60, and this is now 58, and the price is at $78. So that's an $18 move, which is why we need the consolidation. So if this continues the pattern, it could break up here. You notice we were at that level for quite a long time, and there's plenty of potential to move up higher from there. Litecoin feels plenty comfortable at 58 on the RSI, moving up to higher levels. So it's definitely a possibility to see that again at this. But I do think consolidation is needed. After a major hiccup like this, consolidation would definitely be Litecoin's in Litecoin's best favor. I would take back my decision to buy in at 76 if indeed it goes like this and we see consolidation here. If we see that, we'll most likely head up much quicker because that will lower our RSI, as well as it'll use this uptrend, this purple uptrend, to raise the price, which obviously would benefit all of us. So I'll keep you guys posted, but that's pretty much my plan for Litecoin. Bitcoin pretty much is the major indicator as to why I'm not throwing in right now, and that is because you can see we hit that resistance up here. We're starting to pull back down. That is why I started to buy in just a sliver of my investment into cryptocurrency right now because of that pullback that was necessary. It is holding a support right here, so I did leverage that, and I did buy in at that bottom. But I'm talking about Litecoin. But when we hit that price, that's when I bought my Litecoin. So you can see how I use alternate charts, and I kind of use a conglomerate of different altcoins to kind of make my portfolio in terms of investing. Lastly, to jump into Ethereum, I don't want to make this episode crazy long. Very similar here. If you guys were to buy into Ethereum, my personal opinion on this is I would buy right at this line, which we saw yesterday. So yesterday, the 158 would have been a very nice start for your buy-in, or for my buy-in. Sorry for wording it that way. It would be my buy-in opportunity because you could see resistance, support, and now it's going to be another support, which we had right there. So I would start the 10% buy-in. That's when I would do it, and then I would consolidate it back down. Buy in again once we hit the high-low MMA, and then buy in another time at the 145, and then a last time at around 137. I can't see us going below that. Lastly, EOS for this week. We will be doing a new altcoin Sunday. I think I know which one I'm going to be doing. It might shock a little bit of you guys, but if you guys can guess which one I'm doing, leave it down in the comments, and maybe I'll shout you out if you get it right. But otherwise, consolidation is needed for EOS. I don't know how else to explain this. EOS is going to be pretty short in terms of discussion, but EOS just needs to trade out sideways. It's literally just needing this. That's what it wants to do, and then it might take off a little bit longer. But basically, the consolidation will lower its price. It will lower its RSI, and then consolidation outwards will drop it down to a more neutral level. Then we could potentially see a rise to the upside. But otherwise, guys, that's going to sum up today's video. Giveaway at 10,000 subscribers for some free cryptocurrency, probably around $100, so that's not too bad. Free $100 is who would complain? Otherwise, make sure to subscribe, share the channel, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's episode. Peace.